Believe it or not, I have a need to speak. I need to speak. I have my whole life that I'm waiting to speak. I want an audience. Opening this channel is one of the best things that I did this year, maybe, or last year. I'm not sure when I did open it, but it's one of the best things that I did. I'm so happy that I did this thing, and I was thinking about it for 2 years. So 2 years is quite a long time. Saying that, it's a very interesting topic. This thing, how sometimes some things require so much time, and some others are like this. For me, at least. And now I forgot for what I wanted to speak. Why did I even open the camera here? It came back. Thank God it came back. I used to think that I should suffer in this life. Like, I don't want to say like, I used to think that this life is not meant to be lived properly. You have to suffer, but maybe next life, maybe there will be another life. Maybe. And I was pretty young. I was a teenager when I understood that the power of regret is bigger than the power of being scared of doing. The power of regret is bigger or greater than the power of being scared of doing. I understood this thing with simple ways, completely simple. I never used to dance. I never used to dance. It was like, oh my God, I'm so ashamed. I'm so ashamed. And I used to go to church at the time. So we used to do feasts and all of this, like you do some chips and peanuts and blah, 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 you dance. And everyone was dancing and na, na, na. And I was so shy to dance because, of course, I never danced. Like, I never danced. So how can I dance? I don't know how to dance. And but there I had a crush. I used to have a crush. And I used to say next song, next song, next song, next every time, next song, until I understood that actually the parties were finishing day after day, week after week. They were being gone. And I was never standing up to do a move or two because I was 15 maybe and I wanted to be noticed from my crush. And then one day, I decided to just stand up and go there and dance because I used to think that I'm bad. I used to think that I'm bad. I can dance. And I was just dancing. I wasn't shy. Of course, I wasn't comfortable going there, but I went there. So then I was like, fuck it, I'm here. Everyone can see me. I better be dancing. I better dance. And it turned out that I wasn't that bad. I wasn't that bad at all. But when I say week after week, the parties were passing and I was doing nothing, it was for 2 or 3 years. Yeah, again. So from that day, I remember that was the first time in my entire life that I realized that I better choose to do and be embarrassed for trying than to never try because I'm embarrassed of being noticed of trying. I don't care. I don't care. Let me be embarrassed. I'm learning. I'm learning. It's fine. I will be embarrassed. It's fine. Everything starts from not knowing. You learn how to walk by failing. You learn how to talk by blah 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 blah. Is this embarrassing or this is like, oh my God, you're learning how to walk, you're learning how to talk. Your child is learning how to walk. Oh my God, he's falling. Your child is learning how to talk. It learned to say ma, ma, ma. It learned how to do that. Oh, that's amazing. And you get so happy when they do ma, ma, ma. And then all of a sudden you start being raised or being grown. You start being grown. And then you are embarrassed of trying for your own self to learn how to do something new because what's that because there's no because I genuinely don't understand our society how we let ourselves to be who we are, and we are better than before. So imagine how bad it was before. To go back to the topic, I used to think that you should suffer in this life. This life has to be hell. And because of this, I grew certain beliefs. My subconscious grew certain beliefs. I partially it comes also because what they teach you in religion, they teach you that you have to put your head down and do your and pray to God because maybe things will get better, but you don't have a saying in your own life. It's all in God's matter and all of this. So practically you don't have a choice of doing in your life, but it's all in the hands of God. And because of that, you learn how to not do, how to accept what is bad. And maybe perhaps this initially it was good because people used to be so poor that you had to say something to people. You had to say that after this life that you have right now, you actually will have the you will be in paradise. If you will suffer now, if you will live a life in misery or a life that you don't have any chance of getting it better, or I don't know, you know what they say, you will go to paradise then. But what's important is to be a good human, which I 100% agree. I 100% agree. It's a heart is a good heart is one of the most valuable things that we can have in this life. So they used to say to this thing to people in order for that for people to think it's fine. Not maybe not in this life, but maybe on the other life. I will go to paradise. It's fine. Mind mind can be a tricky place. Mind can be a tricky place. So they understood that the mind can be tricked and they played with it. They played with it. It's very interesting. Today for me is very interesting. And because I used to think that, oh, I'm meant to suffer in this life, I also developed the thought that mm, maybe I'm not meant for more. Maybe I'm only meant for what it was given, and that's all. I my mind developed that thought in order for me to be protected from the world, from what can be and from what cannot be, from what can come, from what can't come. But myself was always fuck no, like fuck no. From the beginning, from the time that I can remember, and I understood that this world is a bit fucked. And I understood, I understood pretty early, not by choice. I had to understand it that this world is. I love life, but this world is a bit fucked. We made it like that, and we humans. I love humans as well. Some days, and sometimes I'm like, how can we be this dark? Because it's pretty dark. It's pretty fucking dark. How can it be this dark? Anyway, I understood through personal experience that I'm lucky enough to have been born in a part of the world that bombs are not coming in my head, and I'm not being worried if I will wake up tomorrow because someone or something or a, a bomb crushed my house. So I'm lucky enough to be born in a part of the world that I don't have that worry. And for as long as I am healthy and I have my mind in place, everything can be turned around. Everything can be turned around. And one can come to me, but, for as long as we are not, for as long as I, as a woman, wasn't born in a country that doesn't allow to have even my hands outside because it's a temptation for men, for as long that I wasn't born in a country that doesn't have an active war, doesn't have an active conflict, because now they call them conflict. They always used to call them conflict because war somehow is too big, but actually they are wars. Everything can be turned around. Everything. And I have it through personal experience. Everything can be turned around. And I need to remind this thing to myself as well because I forget it. Mine is like, doesn't work, doesn't work, doesn't work. And I have to show to my mind that actually it does work. It does work. Have patience, seek, look, search. Whoever knocks always will get an answer. Whoever knocks always will get an answer. And I'm not saying that life is easy. I'm not saying that. But it can be simple just to understand it that we can turn things in our own favor. With a little bit of faith. I mean, you had to be I had to be delusional. I had to have a faith in something that I can't even name. I had to have faith that things will get better. And things got better. But I had faith that things will get better. It wasn't like a thought, it was faith. I trusted with my whole being that things will get better. If they are not going to get better, I'm afraid that I will not get on the other side. So, in case that I will get on the other side, it's because things got better. We take things a lot for granted. We take everything for granted. We forget. We forget. And it's not a big thing to have bread on the table because I believe that bread is normal. We all should have bread on the table. We all should have health care. We all should have a good schooling system, or how it's called. We all should have access to uh, facilities that or to services that can make our life better. I believe that we should all have that. But turns out that we don't live in that world. We don't live in a world where we created all these things for our own good. We live in a world where we have to earn those things. Oh, that's it's it remains funny. It's not funny, but I have to laugh. It's not funny. I already paused that part of resentment and I don't want to go back because it's pretty tough. There were days that I was like, I couldn't understand anything. How we did, how we came here. But we, at the end of the day, apparently we are an animal, so we evolved up until here. We evolved. My point of the story or of the video is that life is hard enough. Life is hard enough. So it doesn't have to be more harder. It's not meant that I should go or you should go through a life of pain and suffering. And then maybe at the end, there is no maybe. There is no maybe. No one gave you another life as a guarantee. No one gave you your 60s as a guarantee. How do you know that you are going to live until the 60s? I'm going to share something very personal, deeply personal for me. I understood it lately, so this is a fresh one. Because of fear that I might lose my loved ones, I used to cry myself to sleep for every single night, for years, for years. And I was 9 years old, maybe 10 years old. I don't remember. And because of that, for me, it was easier to think that I will die before my grandmother, for example. I will die before my parents. So because of this, in a way of this is all egoism. In from my ego of not wanting to go through their through me losing them. For me, it was easier to say it's fine. I will die first. But I never imagined for the pain that they would go if they would lose me. But for my brain, it was easier to accept that I will die first, and them then they will deal with their life. But I don't want to experience their death. I don't want to experience that type of pain. That's too heavy. That's too bad. And lately, I realized that I had developed a belief in my mind that actually I will not pass my 30s. That was rooted there. It was rooted on my childhood, where for me it was easier to say, okay, it was what it was. Now it's my time to go. I will go. And it's fine. When my time to go, I will go. Like, it's fine with that. But I don't want to go before. So I don't want to go before. and that was tough to understand. And I still can't understand properly if I genuinely brainwashed myself or if I had a feeling, but I really doubt that I had a feeling. I think that I did brainwash myself because I remember how much I was in pain from after I became aware of life and death and all of this, that I will lose my loved ones one day and blah blah blah. I was so in pain from the fact that I will lose them that my brain found the solution, because this is what brain does. Your brain finds it has a problem, it will give you a solution. And I feel bad. I don't know, it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant. I have to say it's not pleasant. I'm fascinated by brain. I'm fascinated what it can do just to make you survive in a way. And that death was a way of me surviving those younger years. That death of mine, the death of my adult self, it was my the way that my younger self was surviving through that pain that I used to have at that time, which is not less now. In case that it happens, or whenever it happens, now you just understand it. And we have a saying that it's better when it comes from the oldest, even though it hurts, it always will hurt. But it's better when it comes from the oldest, because imagine my grandparents that are almost 90 going to lose their granddaughter that it will be almost 30. I can't imagine. I can't imagine that type of pain. I can't imagine, and I wouldn't like anyone to go through that type of pain. Oof. Yeah, these are hard conversations. I find them not pleasant. They are. Thank you for listening and take care of yourself.